First off, welcome for those who are watching to the Penobscot County Commissioners Workshop of February 13th, 2026. I will call the roll. Commissioner Marshall.
Here.
Commissioner Trumbull is going to join us late. Mr. Treasurer is here, and the chair is here. At this point, I would call on Mr. Sharp if you'd be willing to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you very much. So at this point, we are meeting with the company that has offered a contract for the services with the finance department. I would believe Bob is online now.
He is not.
He is not. Okay. We'll let him roll in, but Mr. Jason Sharp from Dirigo Strategic Advisors is with us. We have a request for proposal. There is documentation that the administrator has provided to us. It's just like what you just took the time to print off. Jason, would you like to outline what we are offering the county here?
Oh, absolutely, be my pleasure. So once again, I'm Jason Sharp, co-founder of Dirigo Strategic Advisors. The proposal that we put forth for Penobscot County Commissioners is a approach. It's a hybrid approach. So it's got Robert N. Brown Jr. as the leading engagement partner, CPA, CFE, with 35 years of experience. Senior consultant data analytics and technology, so bring forward our proprietary tools to work on this project. What we've outlined in our basically in our proposal is a phased approach over an 8-week period in response to the RFP. We actually is a hybrid of on-site when we need to be on site with the staff. They're remote, so most of the data analytics and what have you be remotely, but still securely. And I think this will link at there as well. Walk through each one of the phases. It's a 5-phase approach that we go through that actually brings us through those 8 weeks, or six-stage protocol. Sorry, which involves the assessment and data gathering, balance sheet reconciliation, system migration, grant documentation, compliance, audit readiness, and contingency. Which is in there. And really each one of these, what we did is we gave a range, not knowing exactly the amount of work that would happen in some of these phases. And so we have a flexibility there as far as the pricing on that. The goal of this is for us to work with the County Commissioners Finance Group team, as well as the current audit team, to bring forth FY24 and FY25 in a clean package. That can be handed off to the auditors in the format and the way in which they wanted to have, so that this group here can hit the milestones that we're looking to hit, and then move forward from there. So there's a summary of the proposal that we put together, and hopefully that makes sense there.
Wait, really, just to guide everybody, in your packet, you have the proposal that Dirigo Strategic Advisors provided us. In order to run and I had a look through this, we're pretty excited about it. I think it's going to fit the needs of the county. To guide this process for the commissioners, also in your packet should be a work session guide that we have taken probably the meat of the RFP out of it and put questions here that we can go down through and allow Mr. Sharp, Brown. That's sort of question. If you give everybody a better understanding, and we put a parameter. Obviously, we would like to bring this package under 84K, which is what we're asking. That we go down through these questions and bring everybody to alignment with where we're going in the work session. Any questions from the commission at this point? Yeah, everybody has a question.
So is this the first time that Jason and Bob have had the opportunity to see this?
I provided it to them, know they had a chance to get them, so it shouldn't want to jump as I would say. Yeah, the opportunity to answer the questions as we go down through it.
Yeah.
And then I just shared with them, if you gentlemen want to, we can go into contract negotiation, you guys agree with our. Check that, go to the session.
Brenda, do you have anything you would like to add or summarize regarding your needs in this contract?
Well, I guess I can, like 2 cents it now, so. 2024, we've done some work already in the audit prep because we initially thought we were gonna be rolling into that, the end of 25, so I had the intern start preparing some of the schedules. The bank recs should be all up to date. So it's really, I'm really excited about the validation from Trio Edmonds. I think that's gonna be really valuable for us and the auditors. I know there's a lot, there's still balance sheet cleanup that needs to happen. And just, yeah, documentation and
Yep.
just pulling stuff together. And I do have, in fact, did I send you the audit documentation?
We received early on like, didn't look like an official. PBC, but we received something like that, but we didn't receive a full,
Oh, okay, sorry.
so that's okay.
But, so we're not in horrible shape, but we definitely need help, so, I guess, you know, as we get into, I don't wanna here to get into the nitty-gritty today.
Yeah.
We can talk about that later, but, yeah, I guess we'll just, some of it I just see, we'll figure out as we go. I'm not sure, like, what is your initial process, just doing like a data time?
Yeah, so what we would do is, one of the first things we're gonna do, with our process is we would get together with your team. Have a kickoff meeting. I know in here there's a question about Racy and what have you, and what we really want, so great information to know that a lot of the bank reconciliation has been going on for FY 24, that cuts a bunch of hours off. So in reality, you think about from picking up just from where that's been left off, and then just validating, and then the way that we do that is understanding everything that you have done, everything that you are just gonna hand over. But then also look at the stuff that isn't done, and access. So I know in here, one of the things was about access to Trio that obviously we don't wanna. All we really wanna do is just put the data that goes into a scenario folder, and we run it through our tools to really speed up that process. And then we'd also meet with the accountants. Okay, so we don't wanna get started down the road and then realize, oh, wait a minute, they wanted this form, we're going this way. So what we wanna do is make sure that our outputs exactly match the inputs they need. So when we are done and we hand it over, we all feel really good about what we did. We've all agreed that we're complete. When we hand it over to them, they know what's coming. And then they can be that much more efficient on their FY 24, FY 25 audits. And then get that done. And then anything that we found along the way, obviously we want to make sure that you're equipped, knowing that you don't have a limited staff. To be able to make sure that as we go forward, all these things are done in the right order. What have you, in the right process, stuff like that. So it's really a collaborative effort. And I know a lot of the questions that we have here, I don't need to jump ahead. But a lot of it comes to be determined, like some of them were like, well, what kind of documentation would come out of this? Well, it's gonna determine on what you have and what they want.
Yeah.
And then we modify what we're doing, because what we want doesn't matter. But we do have a full phased approach in here. It just goes down to everything that would happen, 1, 2, 3. And then as those happen, those get checked off. Who's responsible for it, who's doing it. And hopefully we make it so it's very non-disruptive to your office. Right, but as I said, and those who mentioned here about taking the on-site time down. Perfect, we're 257 Harlow Street. So if there's something, you both have been very responsive this week, and if there's something we just needed to get together, we could figure out what the best time to do that. And come together that way, as I help out.
Okay,
You wanna run through the question, you wanna facilitate the question? and then-
if you would, yeah,
Okay.
that may log our thoughts.
So if you go to the proposal, like there you go on page 4, we're gonna start with the technological approach proposal. And then you got 5 questions, and we'll allow them to go right down to the list, allow them to answer them and get better understanding,
So
so.
are you talking about your document you just provided us?
So we have a proposal
Yep.
on page 4, there you go, has described the technical approach.
Yep.
We have a 5-question checklist. We're asking them. Will allow us to.
Did we have another copy in your book, okay, on the table? So we've just kind of done a review with Mr. Sharp as to what they offered, and then Brenda's shared some of where they're at with the reconciliation in 24. The administrators now going to walk us through the questions that we have in the consulting portion of your budget. You? He's got it in his binders. So you would like to, in your,
The from there, RFP proposal, what's up there?
here.
Yeah, that's on the page 4 there. The right hand.
Then you should. An outside county working second guide. And we're already right down to the front. Okay.
Got it.
So.
Absolutely.
Okay, so. Approach out of the 250 scratch file balance transactional detail from Trio.
Yeah, that'd be a download upload, so we don't really want to tie into your systems. If it's better for you all to give us that read view access, so we get our own login, download, we tell you exactly what we're doing before we did it. Or if it's preferred that you all download it, we set up a secure folder for you to put that in, that we can then access it. And then our tool is ready for the upload to come in and then start the analysis.
Probably. I've tried to bring the whole download, I don't know. Database, I don't know. Well, you just need 24, which you need.
No, we just only need what we need out of it, so when you think about your because I know that especially Edmonds has a whole suite of what they have in there, so we wouldn't be downloading everything that's in Edmonds, would be just taking the stuff that we need to pay service.
So you'd be okay with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That I think that's.
Yeah. If that makes it easier for you too, then
Yeah.
that's, but we would definitely let you know before we work in there. So we'd tell you Tuesday, we're going in, here's what we're doing, here's what we're looking to download. Make sure you're all good on that we're doing it and what have you, and then we would do the download, then we'd let you know what our preliminary findings are. From there, and what our next steps are.
Just a question on my end, is the information migrated over from Creo to Edmonds?
Yeah, everything's been. On the way back to.
We'll really address question 2, so we'll move on to 3. What's standard app? Outputs, reconciliation schedules, dashboards. PDC ready reports can review in the pages.
Yeah, so those outputs, reconciliation findings, when it comes through, what's gonna happen is it's gonna give us a summary. It'll should point out any type of anomaly, something that needs to be looked into, and what have you. We do have a dashboard set up preliminarily. We could show you in advance after we meet with the auditors, because we wanna make sure our output matches what they want again. But once we meet with them, we can come back to you and any adjustments we made, and we'd be able to show you exactly what we're doing, what it's gonna look like when it comes out, make sure that you're good with that, they're good with that. And then we'd start working on each one of those. The biggest one obviously being the reconciliation. Make sure that all takes time.
So before we go any further, Bob, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I really apologize. Had a little technical issue and I appreciate your patience very much, Lee.
That's okay, I just want to verify, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, yes, I am. It's muddled a little bit sometimes, but I just cranked her up here, so I think I'm in good shape now.
If I push that a little, the mics are in here, right, Ryan?
The audio is only going through the webcam, so the mics really aren't going to change.
No, I mean, the microphone is on the camera. So, yeah, I'm watching that to make sure I don't go too far, but we look like we're on the other side of the room.
Is that better, Bob?
Yes, it is. Thank you so very much, Andre.
We've just lost Brenda and Tink in the. You pull that back. Yeah.
As soon as they talk, it'll swing over and catch
Okay,
Just off camera is always the best.
yeah, yeah. And lean is. There we go. Okay, perfect. At least the mic's closer.
Perfect.
Thank you, Ryan. Okay, so Bob,
Yes,
I'm sure Jason is doing an outstanding job here. At some point, either wave your hand if you have something that you would like to add, or we can, after each group, if there's anything else you feel you might want to highlight, we'll call on you. How's that?
that sounds great, and I'm not shy, so I'll make sure I speak up.
Perfect. All right. Tink, if you'd like.
All right.
And I think you know all the players in the room now. We have Brendan Palmer, our finance director. Glenn Moore, our treasurer, Commissioner Tremble, myself, Commissioner Marshall, and obviously, Jason and Tink.
Absolutely.
Great. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Question 4, how will we ensure cost and normalization of calendar year 25 and prevent loss of duplicated transactions?
Yeah, great question. So what we did is, knowing that happened, what we did is we set up the tool to be ready for not only Trio, but also but we also built in the backend some coding to make sure that when those come down through, they'll reconcile, make sure everything looks good. Well, then that's where we go, and then I review it, and I go back and forth, make sure it's right, and then I get it to Bob. Bob then looks through it, make sure that everything looks right. Then we come back to you, make sure everything looks right, and if everything seems correct to everybody, we'll run one final test through, because it's always opportunities. Never seen anything go perfect the first time, but then we do one final run through, make sure everything is there, and incorporate our learnings into the back end, right? Because these tools continue to want to make sure they're enhanced as possible, but that's what we do there, and you each know exactly what that we've done, and make sure everybody's feeling good about it.
Just a question, when the transition happened, there must have been a mapping, I'm assuming, from Trio to Edmonds?
So Edmonds actually handled all of that, which is one reason I'm really excited with this service that you mentioned. So, and we've seen a couple of anomalies, but overall it's been pretty good.
Oh, okay, so are you still contracted with them?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I was just thinking, because we can also utilize some of that information to get the where that mapping was done, even if they just did it on their end. That way that if something is off or looking wrong, we know that sooner rather than later, because that saves everybody a big headache.
Yeah, and they're helpful. They'll, I mean, like one thing that we've seen is, say you do a recurring journal entry and you book it for the whole year in February, is picking up the whole entry in February. It's not allocating it to the month. So we've mentioned that to them. So I know there's gonna be a few things like that probably out there. So
Okay.
anything like that I know about, I'll let you know up front, but it's not too many minutes.
Are they aware of the timeline of when we migrated over to Edmonds?
It was a little over a year,
It was December.
2024, was it?
No, it was December.
Oh, December 25.
Yes.
Oh,
We
okay.
haven't had this in place more than 2
Yeah.
months.
So 24, I guess, this is maybe something we can talk about. I mean, we're gonna audit Trio, we're gonna audit them, and I prefer to kind of just stick with it, and I don't know.
We can work through that.
Yeah, okay.
All right, moving along.
What is the workflow anomalies and how are findings handed back without vendor lock-in?
Yeah, I'll take that one too. So this one, any anomalies that we recognize, if we're gonna obviously make a list of those. So if they're just regular type of anomalies that would normally happen during a process, Any anomalies, we would contact you all, and if we saw anything that looked a little bit out of context, we would get a hold of you and talk through with you all what you want to do. But we wouldn't do any work that's not within our scope of work, without your approval we stay focused on what we're doing, and then if you decide, okay, we wanna look into that, great, or you might say, oh, just like you mentioned just a second ago, oh, we recognized that before. Because that's how Edmonds does it, we go, oh, okay, great, now we can expect to see that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's because at the end of the day, this is all your data. It's not our data. And anything that we see that looks like it maybe might have to be followed up or addressed, we are not going to assume any of that other than if you say, hey, could you do something? Or could you just make a recommendation, Bob? If you were going to look into it, what would you do? And we can provide you that information too. So that's, yeah, staying in scope is key.
Yeah, and one of the things we talked about too, especially some of the parts this morning, was if it's something that you all can just do, we all just go ahead and do it. We just keep on trucking with the project that you've asked us to be engaged in.
Proceed.
All right, well, we're gonna move to the hybrid service model, that's still on page 4, and then we moves to page 5 in the proposal, so we have 4 questions. What criteria determine on-site versus remote tax? Can you provide a weekly on-site schedule in advance?
Well, I'll take this one, Jason, or at least start anyway. As far as on-site versus remote, it's what physically needs to be done. Again, we haven't taken a look at what your records look like or how they're formatted, but certainly if it's more efficient to be working with your team on site, that's what we're going to do. If it's not more efficient, then we would choose not to do that. That's kind of what we're thinking. And so a lot of that really is going to depend on that first kickoff meeting, is so we can help determine that. And as far as into the future as we can look is what I'd like to do, because it keeps everybody's schedule better.
Man,
And that works around your schedule, a lot of it.
Yes.
Just to make sure that we're not interrupting what you have on that.
all right. What are your SLAs for request turnaround and communication cadence for county staff and auditors?
Yeah, we'd pretty much let you just remember that.
Okay.
We try to be as quick as possible. Most of the project we work on, we try to, we get communication or something, we try to be as quick as we can on the back end of it. But whatever works for all of you, as long as it's reasonable, to be able to match what you need. So we could work with that on the initial meeting, determine what that's gonna be.
All right. Much chance of this next question. What is the county Derigo RACI for reconciliation grant files and AJEs?
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Same, once we have that initial kickoff and we understand what we all they have, then we can come together, make an agreement on what that actually looks like and how detailed it needs to be. And all that stuff to make sure that we stay with task.
Okay.
It won them the other day, Matt.
All right, we're moving to the scope of work, and that's on page 5 of the proposal. We're not making any comments.
No, we got some good information this morning. So we just have what we read through the FY23 audit, and Brenda's what she added this morning, so that's where we're sitting. But once we get in and look at it, then we'll know exactly.
What documentation standards and work paper structure will you deliver?
Yeah, so this is twofold, so this is under my realm. As we complete the work, so one, it's gonna be determined on your accountants, so what they want to come up with. But the way we set up our project tool, really is that you get a weekly accounting of what we've done, what tasks we've completed, how many hours we spent on those, how much that costs. If we're over under, I'm a big fan of under. And so then that also, okay, wait a minute, looks like we're pacing a little bit ahead on this one, which hopefully nothing comes up that is completely unexpected, but that would allow you to know, okay, wait a minute, looks like we're pacing for this. We might be in good shape here, and then once again. We bring that to you, you get to review it, look at it, recognize the fullness of it, completeness of it. And then also give us feedback and support on anything that you notice that we could either modify, change, or enhance.
How will we prioritize reconciliations if unexpected issues arise? Especially unexpected issues.
Yep. So Bob, you want to handle that one?
Yeah, certainly.
Or planning.
So, yeah, so basically, as we're going through anything, and reconciliations is a good one. If we're lacking information, I'm going to put it that way, which is generally the case. If something it doesn't look like got posted, or something didn't clear forever, or whatever that issue is, I'm talking just cash balances now, because those are the easier ones to think through. Certainly, the first thing we do is come right back to you and say, geez, what have you done in the past, or what does this look like? If we're doing different things with fixed assets and or what have you, then that's a different conversation, but very similar, because we don't have the internal knowledge that you folks have. So it'd be foolish to try to spin our wheels without having a quick conversation and going, hey, this appears odd. Can you give me some insight? And that's kind of how we handle those. And hopefully there's not a lot. But if there is, there'll probably be a pattern, and we'll figure out how do we get in front of it.
Yeah, to that point, not only do we have a hybrid on-site remote model, our skill sets are very complementary. So as Bob was doing that work, I would move on to say we found something in a certain area and he's asking for more information. I would continue on with the work that I was doing. So I wouldn't be slowed down. Then when he came back to it, I'd go back to that part and then go ahead and look at the next piece of it in coordination with him. We're 5 minutes down the road from here. Our offices are about 10 seconds apart. So it's very easy for us to communicate and say, so it's not like we're both doing the exact same thing at the same time. We're really, from our project plan, have it set up so that we can be as efficient as possible, as effective as possible for you.
If I may.
Yeah.
Have you done any municipal or county work before?
Currently, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys do some school departments too?
Yeah, work with schools and school departments. We have municipalities. So since I've started this work, I've been introduced to that part of the difference between county and town, town and school, county and school, all that stuff. What the similarities are, but some of the uniquenesses, considering the complexity of your departments and breadth of what you oversee of the county versus
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
And that's one reason too, go ahead.
You spent some time volunteering in the school world, so I know that you've got some metrics down. I think we can guarantee that this will not be a boring process, dealing with Penobscot County. There's some opportunities here probably to provide us with some past experience that could be helpful to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm good.
What authority and sign-up process do you need for adjusting journal entries?
Oh, this is a great one, because we don't make adjusting journal entries. We suggest them though. And so it really is part of, I don't know what internally you have for your standard operating procedures and who you have authorized to make those decisions, but certainly anything that's going to have any sizable effect, one, you're going to know them all anyway, but two, certainly that's worth an extra conversation if somebody's uncomfortable with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's pretty much me. Right now, anyway.
Alright, now we're gonna move to the phase plan. And we got 3 questions. What are the key deliverables at the end of each phase?
Yeah, so I expected, so for instance, on phase 1, not only any weekly status updates, should just be a couple of them. But you can expect from me deliverables, data extraction, confirmation memo, and gap analysis work, chart of accounts, crosswalk, trio, admins, validated bank, reconciliation status, and then a risk assessment engagement plan from there, anything we found, would go in there. And then I can go stage by Pretty much you're gonna get constant updates on the weekly piece. And then in each one of those, you'll get your key deliverables. So when you think about the actual reconciliation work, you get the workbooks from there, adjusting journal entry suggestions, interfund reconciliations, stuff like that. So each one of them, of course, we can go in more detail with you all. You know, move forward or that initial kickoff and see if there's anything that we're missing, but we do all each one of those planned and should be, we look to make those very efficiently available to you in a very timely manner. And of course, if we finish a phase early, you'll get all that early. We'll move on to the next phase unless you tell us that there's something else that you need there.
We'll move to the third question. On the migration, Brenda, we're already migrated from into Edmond, right? So they're only gonna be dealing with it. For the migration validation.
I would prefer to work that one, yeah. I'd like to put Trio past. But just so you know, so we just concluded the 23, right? And I have a list of 30 or so adjustments that still need to get booked. And I need to fill in some of the account numbers. They kind of just said, oh, revenue. So we need to go through so I'm debating. I'll debate out loud. Do I go ahead and book these in Trio, which means I'm gonna have to do it again in Edmonds, so the migration has happened.
Yeah.
Or do I just, I'm really tempted to do that just so that we have, so that Trio is still valid.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know, it's gonna, do you have thoughts on that?
What do you think, Bob?
That's a very good point. The benefit of, see, it's back and forth. The benefit of if they are all posted in Trio, we can rerun the financial statements and supporting schedules based on not just what's in the system, but also what the auditors are using for a mapping process to bring that trial balance into the individual statements. So doing that knows that, okay, now here's where we start. Now turn right around and go, okay, post the journals in Edmonds and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Reconstruct it. So then all of those coding, that mapping stuff would be taken care of at that point. And then when we move right into 1/1/24, we should be in good shape. That's my thought, but I don't know how.
No, I have the same thought, it's just, I mean. I might be able to even do it as an upload into Edmonds, so won't be a horrible amount of work, I think it'll be worth it. Thanks for chiming in.
Obviously, we're on an 8-week timeline. Could you talk about the potential delays that could cause us not to do that 8?
Well, I think we're a week behind now, aren't we? The real delays are things that we don't know, that you don't know, because obviously you'd say, hey, we think this is going to be a little more messy than it should be. It's really, I think the key is staying right on top of everything, because if there's going to be a delay, you're going to know it right off the bat. The other thing I think that is extremely important is that we quickly engage the auditor to have them understand that, one, we're working through this process to not only help you folks, but also to help them when they put things together. I think that's the key right there, is the more upfront we can work through this stuff and come up with schedules, timelines, I think the better off we'll be.
Yeah, and from our firm perspective, once we put this RFP in, we knew that this was there was urgency around this. We have not accepted any other work until we hear back from here. So we all agree that we're going to start this work here. There won't be anything exterior from our perspective that would cause delays in us completing this on time.
In the interaction between you and the accountants, if there were a time lapse, is there flexibility for this not to be a continuous 8-week cycle, or do you need to, in order to fit this into your planning, it's got to be contiguous?
We're working on their time frame. So we put together, we tried to match the best we could with the RFP, And also knowing some of the dates you have coming up over the next few months, we're going to meet those with you. But if there was a delay or something like that, that's something that I think between Bob and I, we could work through pretty well. But if something happened, disagree if you think, Bob, I think with the conversations amongst us, we could either reprioritize work. Or kind of figure out how we can kind of speed up the delay of work.
I don't think anyone in this room or this process wants to delay that, but we are dealing with outside entities that we don't necessarily have control over. So I guess that's the reason I asked the question is that part of the thought process if we end up,
Being audited elsewhere.
yeah,
I think a good point to that is by really communicating well with the auditor, because as you know, there is a huge shortage and a crunch for auditors trying to get through, and it's not always the client side. It is not. There's so much work and so few people cranking through it. So understanding what their timeline is, I think becomes extremely important right off the bat. And then trying to work through and say, okay, look, we're going to deliver X. How long do you think you can turn it around? I mean, because it's a fair question on both sides, not just with us, but with them as well. Because if there's going to be a delay, and we should be smart enough to figure that out, and we should come up with another plan. It's a very good point.
yeah, have you worked with this auditing firm previously?
Yes, I'm familiar with them. They're a great outfit. They actually used to do a peer review for us a long time ago.
Okay, you know, and I have appreciated since Brenda has come on what has occurred in our relationship, but we don't necessarily have the best track record of perhaps in prior years providing them data to. So I think your help is critical, but I also recognize that stuff happens. People have life situations that affect small that.
Well, and I think to your point, having, if we can convince the auditor to one, I hate this word trust, but trust us that we are putting this stuff together to make it easier. And so maybe take a little bit of the anxiety out there. So as they're picking and choosing who they're going to do next out of the pool, I'd rather have us be near the top of that list and not near the bottom because of past experiences or whatever rationale that could be very justified. But if we can maybe convince them that this is really something we're pushing forward, I think that will help.
Perfect, thank you very much. Take,
So gentlemen, I think we're at the point where we'd like to decide for contract. And there are any questions? What contract? Executive session, not discuss. Particular contract.
I think that if the commission is comfortable, we could go into executive session with the individuals that are part of this. And then if we feel a need, we can ask Mr. Brown and Mr. Sharp to excuse themselves in case we need any further discussion. We can't vote in executive session, but I think we can finalize this so we can give them some.
Formalize
It is. Questions. Is that something that
I
works?
concur with Minister.
I would, at this point, if there's no other public comment that folks feel a need to make, we can entertain a motion to go into executive session for contract matter. The statute.
It's a toggle
I
sentence.
presume it is.
I'm also going to go to the since we have 506 contract. Second.
I have a motion to second. Any discussion? Hearing none, at this point, we will move into executive session. You're welcome to stay on.